All right, mate. I guess one of the most important things this weekend will be captaincy choices. This week, like the week I think 2 weeks ago, a lot of options. It is real open slather sort of stuff. I genuinely think you could look at 10 teams this week and see 8 different captains.
Yeah.
Run us through the options.
So, as we did a fortnight ago, like the big talking point this week, as you mentioned, Guru, is captains. And let's spend time on what people want to hear about. I try quite hard to not double up too much between the two potties, but captains is the big one. So, like 2 weeks ago, what I've done is I've just taken a deeper dive statistically into the major options to differentiate it. So, we'll start with Nathan Cleary coming up against the Eels. Parramatta concede the 7th most points, Supercoach points in the competition to halves. Parramatta concede 38% of their tries on the left and 37 on the right. Obviously, Cleary will be going at the left. So, no, that's about middling for everything there. What's your take on Nathan Cleary as a skipper?
So interesting, isn't he? Like over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Hasn't quite been there, has he?
He hasn't, but he's still finished.
Standards.
Like a 5-game average of 85 is still very good. A 5-game average of 88, still very good. He just hasn't had those huge scores there. I'm hesitant simply because I know that Parramatta always get up for this game.
Yeah.
Outside of grand finals, they always get up for this game against Penrith.
Every single year, in recent years, we've said they always get up for this game, but they'll still probably get pumped this time. We're wrong every time.
Yeah.
Last game of the season for them.
Yeah, and look, they're not playing for anything. I think Penrith are playing for a week off next week, essentially. Mate, you have a look at the betting market. Parramatta's at $7.
Jeez. With nothing to lose.
It's a grand final replay with nothing to lose. It's wild. Mitch Moses out, which I think obviously the kicking game is going to be so important. But I thought Dill Brown, despite a loss, I thought he was really good last week. But I think I will be VCing Cleary. I also think it's a huge advantage, as I learnt last week with Teddy, because I had the VC early in the week, getting to see updates.
Yeah, it does help.
It's so important. It is so important.
Especially in a week like this where I think the majority of Supercoaches will have a pretty free crack at the VC loophole.
Yeah.
I absolutely do not knock anyone doing it, but I do not love it for that reason. I just think the Eels, maybe they get up for it. Maybe they've checked out for the season. Look, I don't know, but they love getting up for this clash. As I said, their season's done. They're like, Brad Arthur going, boys, you've had a disappointing season. We're against our rivals who are probably going to go on and win a comp. One big week. Give us something. And also, captaining people on Thursday night, it's just shit. It never seems to work out.
In saying that, mate, I'm like, I reckon Brad Arthur would have said last week, hey, we're playing for our season.
Yeah.
Can we get out of first gear?
I know.
Roosters going like a busted arsehole. But I agree with you, mate. I think Battle of the West, I think they will always be up for this game. So I probably will do it. But I'm not super confident on it.
I think I'll avoid Nathan Cleary's last 3 scores against the Eels. 77 this year, 4 points, round 20 last year.
Oh, that night.
And 40 points last year.
Yeah.
Now, you can obviously put a line through the 4 points, but even in that game, I think it was about 15, 20 minutes into the game when he got sent off and hadn't done a thing, obviously. Parramatta, I believe, also beat them last year when he scored 40 points. But, yeah, it's concerning.
It is. Yeah, it is concerning. But I just think that Parramatta side is different to what they were, and I've got no idea. I just think Cleary, mate, he is a proven champion in Supercoach. Yeah. I think that when these moments come, he will deliver for us.
Yeah. I like others. Number 2 on the list, Shaun Johnson against the Dragons, who concede the 5th most points to halves. Most importantly, though, the left edge that Shaun Johnson will be going at concede 55% of their tries compared to 26% on the right edge for the Dragons. I think this is a wonderful matchup for Shaun Johnson. A big factor in the captaincy will be goal kicking. We don't know if he is or isn't kicking again. But I prefer Shaun Johnson to Nathan Cleary as a captaincy option this week. What's your take?
No, I still prefer Cleary, and maybe I'm biased because I don't have SJ and whatnot. I also think, mate, the Dragons have looked pretty good. They're conceding points, I get it. But I think they've looked all right the last few weeks. I just think, mate, fucking SJ just has to do so much to score well. You have a look at the last 2 weeks, for example, against the Tigers. He had 50 points in creative. He scored 73. The week after that, he had 44 in creative. He scored 60. It's a lot to score. It is a lot to score points. That's why I haven't had SJ all year, and there has been certain weeks where it's hurt me. No doubt about that.
Nico bounced back last week.
Nico bounced back last week, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, of course it's Nico. Yeah. He played well. He scored 108. SJ played really well, scored 60.
Yeah, 60. Drew back 48 points in that battle. So we'll add up in 2 weeks' time in that 5-week phase when everyone had that big decision. Cleary, Hines, SJ who won. His last...
And mate, if you give him back the goal kicking in those last 2 weeks, okay, all of a sudden you're talking about 90-point games. Doesn't have it at the moment.
Yeah, he scored 149 against the Titans and 135 against the Sharks in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And have a look at those games, the amount of, like, the one against the Titans, what was that? He had...
Scored a double.
Scored 2 tries in that. That was against 12 players, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't scare me all that much, mate. Even have a look at the Sharkies game. He scored 135 points in that game, which is fantastic. He had 104 in creative stats. Like, has to do so much to score so well, and he has been doing a lot this year, 100%. But as we said off the top of the show, I also think there's a serious chance that at some point, with 10, 20, 30 minutes to go, if they're home, they go, okay, SJ,
Could get a shower.
Yeah.
Could get a shower. If they do, he's probably racked up a lot. Last 3 games against the Dragons, 112. 112 this year, 96 last year, 66 last year. So good numbers. I love him as a VC. I don't own him. Next person on the list, Scott Drinkwater up against the Dolphins, who concede the most Supercoach points in the competition to fullbacks. Scotty D.
I am leaning towards trading him in this week at the moment. I am probably less confident now than I was at the end of last week about trading him in. But he is very, very appealing to me. But he has a similar sort of problem to that of Sean Johnson, where he has to do a lot to score. Unlike Sean Johnson, he has gained the goal kicking in the last 2 weeks.
That's the big factor, isn't it?
That's a big plus. And I thought, as I said before, Suncorp Stadium versus the Dolphins, who are missing all these guys, love that. They've since gained a lot of these guys back. I am leaning towards trading Drinkwater in, but I am a little bit nervous about it.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards trading him in as well. I love him as a VC, just because the Cowboys are really questionable. The Dolphins, so you can just see them getting up for it. I think he's a great VC. He scored 70 against the Dolphins. That was back in round 6. That was his first game in a month, coming off suspension when the Cowboys were terrible. 70 and 80 minutes.
And the Dolphins were flying too.
The Dolphins were flying, so it's a very different setup to there. So yeah, I don't mind Scotty Drinkwater. Cameron Munster against the Titans. The Titans concede the 8th most points to halves. Their left edge concedes 35% of their tries, right edge 39%. I would imagine if you added in all the games that Foz played and measured that up, that it'd be substantially, the right edge will be a lot, the left edge will be a lot better defensively. So Munster does get the far weaker edge of the Titans, with Tommy Weaver also coming in on that edge. So Munster, we saw the stats during the week. He heavily, over the last 5 years, he averages more against top 8 sides than bottom 8. We spoke about it and the numbers added up. What's your take there?
Without being boring, mate, I'm the same I've been for the last 8 weeks. Yeah. It doesn't concern me. I'm happy to leave it. Mate, if Munster comes out this weekend and absolutely gives it to the Titans and scores 120, I'm looking at it and going, well, he scored 28 last week. That means he scored 75 points. Average over the last 2 weeks. So I'm not going to run with him. I also think the really interesting thing, and I was looking at it last night more so for draft purposes, just trying to work out, I assume Pappy's going to be on the bench here. How do you reckon they get him into the game? Like, if they're up, is this maybe an opportunity to give Munster a spell?
There's a million different ways, mate. I don't know. Meany could go to centre. He could go to the wing. He could go to the bench. Munster could go off. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's part of the risk I'm not.
I don't have a freaking clue.
No idea. Yeah. It's part of the risk as well. I think that, and like, as you said, mate, and it's no shock, but as the numbers indicate, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if he scores 60 more points against the Broncos than he does against the Titans.
I think he's a good trade-in, but make it what you will. His last 3 scores against the Titans, 147 last year, 111 in 2021, 91 back in 2020. So good scoring against them. I like it, but just...
He only played the Titans 3 times.
3 times in 3 years,
You know, on the weekend when KP played South Sydney, it was only the 3rd time he has ever played South Sydney.
Really?
I was looking at the stats. Wow.
Wow.
He's only played him 3 times. It's the first time in 3 years he's played South Sydney.
There you go.
Yeah.
Munster, potential VC option. I definitely wouldn't straight captain, but yeah. Next on the list, Joey Manu up against the Tigers, who concede the 6th most points to fullbacks. Joey Manu at fullback, one of the great sights in Supercoach. Thoughts?
Delicious. I wasn't here on Monday. What's your view on the Roosters? Are they back? I don't know who or what the fuck they
were
are.
with Drew Hutchinson in the halves.
Yeah, I don't understand why I make the change. I mean, the thing is with Manu that whenever they get any good ball whatsoever, you know he's going to run, you know he's going to take on the line. You know that the Tigers, those outside backs, there's missed tackles galore there. I think he will pick them apart. He's just... Manu is just the most perfect. He'll make or break your season if you captain him. Like he could cost you 1,000 spots.
He could get 40.
Yeah.
He could get 440.
Yeah. And I mean, like the reality is, mate, like as we've seen over the last few weeks, like even the top picks, not many of them are going for 130, 140 at the moment.
It's been a crazy 6 weeks for captains. Like hard to nail.
Yeah, and that's why, mate, like when I was sitting there with the James Tedesco the other day, I put it out to people, do I take Teddy's VC or go Cleary? I think it was like 70% said take Cleary, and I just sat there and went, 120 points is gold. You can't find that anywhere at the moment.
Yeah. I prefer Joey Manu. Look, he'll still score, should score really well. I prefer Drew Hutchinson at half than Sam Walker for him, just because Hutch will be going, I've got this superstar outside me who's about to break them open, just get him good ball.
Yeah.
Whereas Sammy Walker or Gene can jump and dive and throw lofted Harbour Bridges and all sorts of things.
He's got someone to prove at the moment too, Walker, which worries
He'll
me.
take the line on. So, yeah, but all in all, I think he's a great option. Agreed?
Yeah, I think he is. I don't think it'll be one that I take, but I don't think he's a bad option at all.
Reece Walsh against the Raiders, who can see the 8th most to fullbacks.
As I said, he was probably one of the guys I was looking at to bring in this week. I know that you were reasonably keen on him. Well, when I spoke to you about needing a new fullback.
When I had in my head that it was goal kicking because Adam Reynolds is likely out next week as well, Walter said. So without the goal kicking, the Raiders, who we know they can get up for games, I'm leaning more towards Drinky.
Yeah, I just think with the Raiders as well, like, as much as it has been an absolute shit fight and they're all over the place, as you said, we know that Ricky Stewart can get something out of these guys when they need to. And this is the sort of game without Adam Reynolds where they won't have that kicking game to be able to really guide them out of a dogfight. This one could be a little bit closer than what we're anticipating. If it was in Brisbane, I'm not even having the conversation, to be honest with you. But down there in Canberra, completely different conversation, I think.
Barring a finals game, probably Jared Croker, maybe Jared Croker's final home game as well. They're putting a big day on for him.
I was there for the last big day they put on. They didn't get off the fucking bus, so shout out to Canberra.
So, but
you did more work at that pub after the game than they did.
There's absolutely no reason why the Raiders shouldn't be up for it.
Yeah.
They're also not locked into the top 8. This is a big game.
Yeah, this is a must win. They can't.
Yeah.
And they're not, especially with that for and against, they are far from locked into that top 8. And I think realistically, as much as it's near impossible to win from the bottom 4, if you guys are going to give it a shake, you need to be playing in Canberra. Yeah,
when bloody oath we do. 2 weeks. So I was thinking of the impact of no Adam Reynolds to Reece Walsh, which I don't like for Reece Walsh because, again, just positions he gets put in by Adam Reynolds. 2 weeks ago, Reynolds sat out against the Cowboys. Walsh scored 58. Adam Reynolds, you missed any others this year? Penrith in round 12. Well, this would be good. Walsh got 42, but I won't hold that against him.
Yeah. I could be wrong as well, but from memory, when Jock Madden came in the other day, like, Brisbane were okay. They were fine without him, but as you said, Reece Walsh, he doesn't get put in those same spots, which worries me even more for Reece Walsh. And the goal kicking is huge, as you said.
Yeah. So, captaincy-wise, not for me.
Yeah, not for me, and I won't be trading him in. He's scary to come up against, there's no doubt about that. But he is similar to these other guys. He's not in. He has to do so much. He's not in this Hines and Cleary class where he does. Mate, you know who else is in that class? Dill Brown. Like, you get to the 60th minute, he's done nothing. You check his score and he's on 72, and you just go, "What the fuck? Did I fall asleep for this game? What has happened?"
Yeah.
Whereas Reece Walsh, if he's done nothing at the 60th minute, you can turn it on. He can be on 18, which can really hurt you.
Yeah. If we get word he's goal kicking, that'll change things. But, yeah. Kalen Ponga against the Sharks, who concede the 12th most to fullbacks. Ponga, dominant left edge. I don't have the exact left-right numbers in front of me, but he's going up against the far better defensive edge of the Sharks. Their right edge, their left edge is their weaker one. It's been much improved the last month. That being said, it's like he's a fullback. It's not like Kalen Ponga can't play down the right side. He's just better on the left. What do you, KP, captain?
I don't hate the choice. I don't know. Like, you look over the last few weeks and he's done incredibly well. Scores of 137, 96, 122, 121, 77, 91. Jeez. In that time, he's played the Tigers, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Bulldogs, South Sydney, who all aren't going that well. Had the game against the Melbourne Storm, to be fair, scored 96. That was at McDonald Jones Stadium. And I think that's another factor we need to consider here. If it was at Shark Park, I'm probably not even looking at him.
Definitely not.
But they are a different animal.
Afternoon at Newey.
Yeah, you're asking for it. Geez, I tell you what, Christ, I wish the bloke was a right foot goal kicker. The amount of tries he sets up in that left corner and then he has to hit him across the face. If he was a right foot goal kicker, it changes everything.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I just, similar to the Roosters, I feel the same way about the Sharks. Are they back? Are they the real proper deal?
That's the factor. Yeah. Like a month ago, you go against the Sharkies, absolutely lock and load. But now, all of a sudden, Sharkies are good again.
Yeah. And they're two teams that I think they've put such a big emphasis, especially in the last month, on their defence, that, I don't know. I have got a gut feel that KP is going to do well.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going Cleary, he probably is the one I'm slightly leaning towards.
If you told me anyone on this list that you're going with, I said, well, just there's people that would say, I prefer this person or this person, but I couldn't push back hard on anyone.
I think with me as well, I'm probably a little bit biased to KP because my team, I've got Marcia as well. So I'm like, I need KP to, in order for Marcia to do well, I need KP to do well. So I'm sort of happy to lump all my stuff in.
That was a bittersweet watch on the weekend, having him as captain and seeing him setting up Marcia for them. So do we know, so he had that 8 tackle set or 7 tackle set, whatever the hell it was, for the Marju try.
No, it was for the Saifidi try. They just used a picture of Marju scoring. It was for the Dan Saifidi try, the one that Phoenix kicked through.
Outrageous.
Yeah, stupid, so stupid.
It does make me feel better though.
Yeah.
Lucky last, Nicho Hynes, same game against the Knights, who conceded 12th most points to halves. 33% of their tries down their left edge, 40% down the right edge. Nico going at the stronger defensive side, but also opportunities there. Nico, he just gets it done game after game, mate. He'll be a pod captain.
He will be a pod captain, yeah. And you're right, he does. I mean, you look over the last few weeks, 86, 22, 155, 108. Mate, I feel like outside of Penrith and Brisbane, these two teams have probably been the most consistent over the last 4 weeks. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
But I still just feel like I can't rely on either of them. I feel like both of them, the wheels could fall off at any given moment.
Brisbane and Penrith are the only two teams that I'm confident will do well each week. Every other time, anything could happen here.
Yeah, and even Brisbane and Penrith are also the only teams that, even if they lose, I know they're going to lose by 4 to 8.
Yeah. Someone's
going to have to play bloody well or do what Manly did the other night and play completely rogue football to get them. So, yeah, Hynes, well, mate, that's going to be my game this weekend. Me and Steve in a prelim final and draft. I've got Hynes. Fucking hell. I've got Ponga. He's got Hynes.
Awesome.
Sunday afternoon, so it's going to decide our...
If one team pumps the other...
And he's got Marcia.
If one team pumps the other, one of them, the one of them's going big.
I'm really hoping for classic draft, everything that Nath Cleary just puts on a masterclass against Parramatta.
So, verdict. I want your verdict, and I think we can do it on the assumption that people have a relatively free crack at the vice captaincy loophole.
Yes.
So your VC is going to be pretty good. In my instance, I have 17 players going into this week, and Brendan Pikura is one of them, which is a bit of a dagger for my loop.
Yep.
A trade that I'm intending on making will give me 17 guns plus Pikura, so I've got an okay crack at it, but I need Pikura to do something. Give us your, who do you like?
I will be VCing Nath Cleary. I will be taking him on Thursday night. I'm just going to back in a proven champion there to get it done. And if he goes, mate, honestly, with the way that it's all going, even if he goes 100 plus, I will seriously consider taking that because it's a free loot for me. So for me, the normal rules of 120, 130, they sort of go out the window for me. And also I'm in a spot where realistically, I'm trying to do as well as I can in the rankings, but I'm trying to beat you. And I've got 115 start, and I'm more than happy to admit that. This bad boy is what I want. So that's probably where I'm sitting. Going to VC Nath. If that all goes to shit, I'll probably go KP.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
This is great because I'm thinking vice captain. If Scotty Drinkwater comes in, I'm thinking VC Scotty and C Joey Manu.
Yeah, the Joey Manu one is very appealing. I've actually got a feeling about the Tigers this week. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll get a little bit closer than what people are expecting.
I got no faith in the Roosters, but I do have faith in Joey Manu having 46 runs.
Yeah.
And busting 40 tackles.
Yeah, could be the first half for the bastard.
Yeah.
Geez, I'll tell you what, if that is the play for you this week, every time the Roosters play the ball from 30 metres from the line, I'll just be sitting there going, not him.
When Joey goes to dummy half, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Mate, when Joey goes to dummy half, the goal kicker goes, bring the tee out. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do the thing. I think I'm going to go Cleary VC into KP, C at the moment.